First ever Chords Coffee Live. We've got a special guest today, Mr. Thompson of Bad Cat.
And I think it makes a whole lot of sense for me to have a very dear friend as the first guest. So without further ado, the mastermind, the legend, the man himself, ladies and gentlemen, please get a little bit rowdy for Mr. John Thompson. Come on up here, John.
So John, 25 years of Bad Cat.
25 years, yeah. It started in 1999.
Yep. So one of the things that, I don't know if you know this about John, but John actually came to the company, and it's a funny story, and I'd love for you to tell it, but came to the company the way that a lot of us did, where he heard an amplifier, loved it, and then wanted to know more about it. So could you just tell that story?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I one year back in 2010, I got the green light from my wife to buy a new amp, which, as you know, is not the easiest thing to do, right? So ended up going to the NAMM show in Anaheim, and I spent the full 4 days, I mean, just like literally playing everything. I mean, in, out, every booth, anything I could find. And I ended up falling in love with this Bad Cat Cub. And it was something I hadn't heard before. You know, there was like this note definition and this punch. And so I left the show and then started making calls to some dealers. They didn't have them. And then I sort of like, well, okay, well, I guess I'll give up on that. And no big deal. A few months later, I'm browsing Craigslist like the gear junkie that I am. And I see Bad Cat spring cleaning sale. And I thought, there it is. So I got in my car and I drove down to off the Palma in Anaheim. Walked in the building, ended up meeting James, Debbie, Tim, the crew of about 5 or 6 people. And I said to James, well, so what does the guy have to do to get a Bad Cat? And he said, well, just give me your credit card. So I, well, that's easy. Boom! There you go. Handed him my credit card, and then you always hear these stories about boutique amp builders and how, you know, you put the money down and you spend the next 14 months chasing them around, that kind of stuff. That's got crazy stuff you hear. So I started going back, bringing bits of my own amp collection by and saying, hey, I got this and check this out. And anyway, I ended up, he told me, well, I'm thinking of selling it. And I'm thinking of selling it to this outfit that's, I won't say their name, but sort of larger corporate outfit. And it looked to me like, I did a little research on them and found out they were the kind of people that sort of took, you know, sort of great American brands and then like made Chinese versions of them. And I thought, well, that's not any good. So I went back to the guy I was working for and I said, hey, you know, I think I want to buy this amp brand. And he said, well, if you want to do it that bad, let's do it together. So back in 2010, like I told Nate, working with James was like nailing Jello to a wall. And it was not the easiest thing to do, but ultimately ended up outbidding this giant corporation. And then I went through a couple partners over the years, but now I've got an extra, amazing partner that's allowing us to really grow and do the things that I've wanted to do for years. I just couldn't do because I didn't have the finances, I didn't have all the wherewithal to get the things done I wanted to do. But now we're off to the races. And so essentially, I bought Bad Cat on Craigslist. I mean, in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
And since then, I still can't believe I'm doing what I'm doing. It just still amazes me to this day. I ended up quitting that, very lucrative job. Probably a bad financial move, but I would rather, there's nothing else I'd rather do.
Yeah, we always joke that music retail is the worst get-rich-quick scheme ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun.
If you want to make a small fortune, start with a large one.
So the first amp you played was the Cub.
Was a Bad Cat Cub. In fact, if you ever think I'm smart, I paid full retail for an amp that I bought the company 3 months later. And somebody did explain to me that, well, why don't you take it back and get your money back. I thought, I wonder if I could pull that off.
Yeah, we don't advise that. So anyway, you got a Cub, and then fast forward, you're in this. And by the way, before you got into this, you were already building transformers and things like that.
Yeah, I was a general manager of an outfit that it was this company called Inductors Inc. and they built transformers, they built magnetics, and I was a general manager of that company. And it was a job that was really easy for me. I made a ton of money, and I was bored though, absolutely bored. And my passion was this, you know. And I found that I kind of had a talent for recognizing something that sounded unique or different and good, you know. And there was reasons why I was attracted to the Bad Cat sound. And of course, the early matchless amps as well. I mean, all those things are fantastic, right? And I was just hearing something I wasn't hearing from anything else.
I was going to say, you might, just so the folks know, connect the dots between Matchless and Bad Cat.
Yeah, Matchless I think around 1991 was founded by Mark Sampson and Rick Parada, and they just did an amazing job, right? And they sometime around 1999, due to the Japanese market folding, I guess around 96, 97, something like that, they folded it, and then James started Bad Cat with Mark. Mark came over from Matchless, and Mark was updating the Matchless designs into the Bad Cat products. And I think Mark left around 05 or something like that, which is the end of the Sampson era, I think, it's around that time frame. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm going to go into that. There's a lot I could talk about, but
Sure, but you and Mark are buds.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and real quick, he's not going to brag on himself, but I'm going to brag on him just a second ago. So we were, Chase, where are you at, Chase? Chase is somewhere in the building. There he is. Anyway, there was a guy that was playing an amp, and Chase had it plugged into, it was a Cub. And so on the back of the Cub, there's every speaker configuration you can possibly think of. You know, you've got all the different impedances there. So John is standing over there, and he's listening, and he goes, "That impedance doesn't sound right." And I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "I don't think it's plugged in the right speaker port." And I'm like, I look back here, sure enough, it was in the 4 ohms instead of the 8 ohms. And I'm like, dang, dude, that's pretty good. That's like Eric Johnson level ears. Guitar joke, anybody? Thank you very much.
It's making me out to be the Rain Man, sort of.
Hey, it's good.
Definitely wrong speaker jack. Yeah.
Well, definitely, absolutely. Well, that's the thing, is that you're a player, and I think it's really cool to know that this guy got a hold of this company first as a player because he heard something that he loved. And one of the things that I think is really different about your company, and I'm going to say this without besmirching anybody. Let's keep a count of how many times I say the word besmirch. 1. So without besmirching anybody, you are always evolving forward, and you're not afraid to like completely leave behind, but yet somehow you're able to have the DNA of Bad Cat
Right.
forever in there. And so that sort of begs the question, what is the DNA of Bad Cat that makes it unique?
Well, to back up a little bit, you know, it's perfectly valid. It's a perfectly valid concept to say that, you know, I'm going to recreate and give you exactly what was built in 1965 today, down to the wire, down to the chassis, down to everything, right? And that's a perfectly valid business concept, but it's not mine, right? What I want to do is I want to take what made that thing great and bring it forward, giving you the usability that you would use. It's a tool, right? So if you can make a better master volume, you should. And if there's a better effects loop, you should make that. And if there's a better resistor to use in a circuit, you should use that. I mean, it's not like Leo Fender would have said, "Oh no, I'm going to use the cloth wire because that's better." Right. You know, he would have used what was best for the time, right? Right. And so that's. I always want to push this thing forward as far as we can go without, well, it's still a guitar amp, right? I mean, it always comes down to what does it sound like? Because you could say, well, you know, and I'm not going to besmirch modeling amps because they've got their place, you know, and we may end up doing one day, but at this moment, I mean, when I put one in a room and I set it next to the real thing, it's close, but it's not there. It's just not the same. It doesn't feel the same in your hands. And so for that reason, we're just building, every design we start with, what does it sound like? And in fact, we were supposed to, little secret, we were supposed to bring a product here with us that we weren't happy with yet. And I would think it still sounds better than most of what's available in its class, right? Mm-hmm. But we played it and we're like, no, it's not ready. It's not ready. It just doesn't sound right. So when it's great, we'll bring it with us and we'll sell it. But right now it's good, and good's not it. So we'll wait till it's great.
That's good. That's good. And I want to talk about probably, is it safe to say that a lot of people don't understand the jet black? And before we talk about that, I would love to hear from Nash just really quick. But I'm putting you on the spot. When we did our first Bad Cat video, which was the Cub 15, I think, and I was playing the green sparkly telly. I remember this.
Yes.
And I was like, I really love this amp. And at that time, Nash was just sort of a faceless. Occasionally, I would like talk to him, but we hadn't like pulled him into the video yet. And I hope that after this evening, you find somebody that's your new guitar buddy, because Nash kind of became one of my buddies really quickly. And you know you got a good guitar buddy when they'll tell you, dude, you sound way better playing single coils than humbuckers. I'm like, but I like humbuckers. And he goes, nah. You're a single coil guy. Let's keep going. You know, I like Les Paul, you know.
That's pretty much what the set of Chords and Coffee or any of our demos are like. It's just a lot of out-of-pocket comments to each other and just...
Yeah, well, here's the thing. So like David, right on the front row, David and I played together a lot in church. And so like it's nice to have somebody that you can just talk real quick, like, hey man, do something different than what that is right there. You know, that kind of thing. It's nice to have that direct conversation. But one of the things about these amps that I'd like to sort of set you up with is from a recording standpoint or from a mixing standpoint. What's funny is on these, a lot of times I'm turning stuff down, like the bass. And that feels so unnatural as a guitar player to like, turn it down, no. You know, it's like, especially the bass, you know what I mean? Because you think, more bass, more good. The people are happy. But not always, right? I would love for you to just riff on that for a second.
100%. So the first thing you need to know is everybody familiar with like tone mid bass? But as far as like how they actually operate, where it's not technically flat, but as flat as you're going to get is the controls all the way up, and you're actually supposed to reduce everything. There's an abundance of each frequency across the range on Bad Cats, but pretty much no matter where you set them, what I've really been struck by is how much clarity and note articulation you have at different gain ranges, and just it's really a tool that is always going to sound great live and sit in a mix. And I've spent, I'm not joking when I say probably over 100 hours mixing Bad Cat footage and outtakes and things like that. And I've always been struck by how easy you take it on me. Just mic it up, right positions, right things, and then there in post, I've always been struck by how great they just sit in a mix and how well they work with a multitude of genres and styles, man.
Well, thanks for that. I mean, we've got a great team of people. I mean, just the designers, the builders, I mean, everybody's so good at that. Everybody's a gear junkie at our place. You know, they're all, maybe not Maybell, but everybody else is a gear junkie.
That's awesome.
Maybell is a taskmaster, but everybody's a gear, when we're doing something new, we've got 9 kinds of style of player in the building. And everybody, hey, if you go in there and play this and come back, tell me what you think. And I go, well, the low end does this and the top end does that. And, and so we'll tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak until we get everybody saying, it's a go. John's with us here, John Bingham. He, our sales director, and he's an amazing guitar player, right? And Rob is the Zepp master. I mean, he plays all the Zeppelin riffs, and sometimes we'll get on my office and go, show me that. How's that go? I hear it coming through the wall.
Oh, yeah. Well, so when we break from this, what we're going to do is we're going to get you coffeeed up and then get everybody playing together and create a beautiful cacophony of sound. But, like, for sure, we'd love to hear everybody's opinions and thoughts on this. But right now, I need some questions from some of y'all. Who's got a question for me? There is no such thing as a stupid question. Mike, what you got?
So, John, thanks for being here. It's great.
Oh, I love it. Thank you.
The Cub you bought back then
Yeah.
is the same Cub as today.
So let me rephrase that so we get that on it. So you're saying the cub that he bought,
Yeah.
is it the
That
same
launched it
cub?
today.
Is it the same DNA and
Yeah.
the same general blueprint? Is that a fair way to say it as it is today? That's a great question.
Same.
The answer to that is yes, actually. You know, if I take, even if I take the new, say the Cub 4, like hand wired over here, I can set it up I can, if you take the fat boost down, put it on EF86, that's the Cub I bought, you know, the original one.
Yeah.
This one is a little different. I mean, you can certainly get there. I mean, you can get the sound that you got. It's essentially the Cub circuit, but little tweaks. But in general, the sweep of the tone selectors and the sweep of the gain pots, you can get there and do everything the old Cub did plus more. You can get more sounds out of it as well.
That's awesome. That's a great question. Who else got one? Yes, sir.
What type of genre works best with the Bad Cat Cub?
What type of genre works best with the Bad Cat Cub?
Ooh, okay, let me see. You know, well, the stuff that I have in my head when I play it is like the Tom Petty, Sheryl Crow, kind of mid-gain, kind of crunchy kind of sounds. Though I've heard John play Van Halen on it. I've heard Rob play Led Zeppelin. I mean, I think just like soft 70s guitar rock, maybe soft breakup, nothing too heavy.
Yeah, to me, it does that, you know, that kind of clean, kind of dirty zone that's really hard to dial in, because like dialing in like a heavy gain thing like the Lynx,
Yeah.
you know, is, I mean, it's sort of, that just becomes like a wall of Chicago, besmirch. 5? Okay, right? But I wasn't besmirching the amp, I'm just saying it's like, it's really heavy, right? Yeah, it's 6, yeah. But whereas the Cub is more of like this, it's more touch sensitive and more like dynamic with the fingers, I think.
I think that you know, you can set it up such that where it's just about to break up, right? And with your hands, you can push it over that threshold, right? And you can get dirty with it, or you can back off and play clean. A lot of times I play in this little cover band, right? And we'll do a song where you're playing clean and you go dirty, right? And they'll say, what drive box did you step on? I didn't. I just picked it harder. Mm-hmm. And it has that. All these amps have this. Where I think the rubber hits the road on a great amp, for me anyway, is that transition from being clean to dirty. It just rolls right into it and rolls right out of it without that sort of gargling sound I hate. That kind of where it comes in and out. I won't say when amps do that, but a lot of them do. But I hate that sound. I want it to be smooth into gain and smooth out. And I think that the Cub especially does that, and the Black Cat as well.
That's awesome. Great question. Another question here real quick. Yeah, Chris and Steve. Let's do Steve first and then do Chris.
Okay, quick question. I love the control, but why the cut knob on the Black Cat?
So the question is, you like the control, but why the cut knob on there? Yeah.
It's a bright circuit to begin with, you know, sort of a Voxy style circuit. And the cut feature, what it does is it rolls off high frequency in the power section. So if you have like a Dan Electro or a Telecaster or something like that, where you're really getting a little bright in the top end, it gives you the ability just to roll a little bit of top end off in the power section.
That's great. Thank you. Chris, what do you got?
What's the most versatile single-speaker Bad Cat combo in a studio environment?
What's the most versatile single speaker, single channel too? A single channel Bad Cat amp for like a studio vibe. Did I say that right?
So what single channel amp?
Well, I guess the ultimate is like, what's the most versatile Bad Cat? Yeah.
Oh boy.
Swiss Army.
Jet Black is it, right? I mean, a Jet Black will get the cleans of the Cub, which I think are really extraordinary, and it'll give you the gains of the Black Cat. Not quite the hot cat of the Lynx, but you can get there if you push it with like some kind of a drive pedal.
That's a great
Yeah.
segue to talking about the Jet Black.
Okay.
Yeah, when that amp came out, we did the demo for it, and that was like November-ish of last year, right? I would just love to hear your thoughts on that amp, and like specifically, I feel like a lot of people don't understand what's happening with that, and you two guys can talk about that because you can probably speak more to the specs. And by don't understanding, when that first came out, everybody was like, well, isn't this just like the Black Cat? This is just like, I mean, it has a lot of the same things to it. Is it just the Black Cat with more power?
So I remember talking to you the week that came out when you had shipped it and we had kind of done like a preliminary test drive of the amp, you and I were sort of just casually chatting about it, and you were telling me about, like the R&D you had done for the amp, and you said, the two big players I have that are trying this out for me are Tosin Abasi and Sheryl Crow's guitar player. And when you said that, I was like, that is
soup to nuts, right? That's like,
I was like, that's about all you need to know right there. And it's like, okay, is it a jack of all trades? Not so at all. Like the clean channel and the dirty channel, you can get them pretty close together, and like clone them, but the second channel has so much range on it that you can really, to me, it's the most versatile amp I think I've played from your collection. And it's kind of my pick of the litter.
yeah, I mean, it kind of does it all. I mean, it doesn't quite go into, Tosin uses it, I mean, John knows better than I do. He uses it for the clean sounds and...
Tosin, if you guys want to repeat this on the microphone, Tosin Abasi uses that amplifier for all of his clean and mid-gain sounds.
Mid-gain sounds.
Nice.
Now,
Is he still using a Lynx as well? I know he had one for...
That's the high gain.
Okay.
sound.
Yeah, now Tosin Abasi's mid-gain is my high gain, so...
I was about to say,
Yeah.
especially with an 8-string guitar, I mean, that man gets down.
Yeah, because you step on the links and you are scaring the kids at that point.
You do, but it holds up. The low end holds up
Yeah.
so well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it goes. I mean, it goes off from clean to kind of soft breakup, and the channel 2 sort of like kind of begins where channel 1 leaves off, right? And then it goes all the way through, and you got the tremolo. But essentially when Peter first put together the Black Cat, the things that I thought, well, I know everybody likes this about it, but I would prefer it if it had that. It's kind of where the Jet Black went. The Jet Black is sort of like an idealized, for me, personalized version of the Black Cat. A little more power, a little brighter, three-way tone stack, bass mid treb, real simple for the dummy right here that just wants it real simple. But yeah, it's definitely very similar to the Black Cat, but it's a little more aggressive. If you're the kind of person who says, I always shy away from bright amps, the Black Cat's for you. But if you like that bite and that punch, the Black Cat, or the Jet Black rather, is it's aggressive.
I also like the knobs
Oh yeah.
on the Jet Black. The knobs are different.
Yeah. They get warmer though. Have you noticed that? Because
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they're attached to the pots.
So you got a finger warmer built into the
so
amp?
if you, like in Missouri, it works great, right? Because it's like a freezing.
Well, so you guys want to hear this Jet Black really quick? Is it time for that? Yeah. Okay. A round of applause. Hey, Alec, do we have coffee ready? Okay, so round one. So here's the deal. We got a prototype coffee. I said this before, right? So this is round one. So somehow you got to commit this to your flavor palette memory. Cool band name, by the way. Okay, so you got to commit this, right? And then when round two comes out, we're going to vote on this. And this is forever. You think I'm messing around with coffee? Oh, yeah. Okay. Anyway. Sorry, I get intense. All right, so what we're going to do really quick is I'm going to grab this Telecaster. I think I'll have the guy that built the amp turn the knobs. That seems like a pretty good idea, right? And then we'll just dial in some tones. How's that sound?
Yeah, I also want to say that I really am enjoying the Missouri people. You guys are great. I mean, so friendly and nice. I'm from Orange County. It's not quite the same there. It's a little different.
We were driving around and he kept going, look at all this grass.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a tree? Yeah.
Everything here is so, like you see the road, right?
And where's the
In Orange County, it's the road, sidewalk, building. Here it's road, 100 yards of grass, sidewalk, building, another 100 yards of grass, building. In Orange County, that does not happen from where I'm from. But this place is beautiful and the people here are so nice.
That's awesome.
And thank you
Give it
very
up for
much.
John.
I'll bring some gain in.
Middle position. You know, normally the back pickup is pretty brutal.
Yeah, it's a telly, and ordinarily this will crack your glasses.
Yeah, it's a bridge pickup through an EL84 amp. Man, I so badly want to break the seal on, and if you could, give me 30 seconds on how you feel about calling an amp an EL84 amp or by the power tube.
Yeah, you know, I got in trouble last time I said that.
I know, just 30 seconds. It's relevant.
I mean, in general, if you were to take a preamp, right, and you were to put it through an EL84 power section and EL34 power section, and then just be able to switch them back and forth really quick, right? It wouldn't be quite like you think it would be. You would think it would go from, oh my God, that sounds like a Vox, to a JTM45. It would not do that. It would just slight little bits of EQ, right?
Would you say it's fair to, if I'm going to generalize, a lot of people's perception of how power tubes sound comes down to all the way back to the beginning when people had masterless amps they were cranking, and that perception never really went away? Because I mean, how many EL84 amps have you heard where you're like,
Oh, what's this?
that aren't Voxes that have like classic American cleans, the complete opposite of what you'd expect? You know, so I think especially for your circuits, right? Like you're mostly like targeting like the preamp.
I'm sorry, that's distractingly good. Which one is this? This is one? This one?
This is prototype. Yeah.
One. Wow, okay, that's really
Can
good.
It's not.
Yeah.
Can you throw out some adjectives for this coffee? Anybody? What do we got? Hot. That's very good.
It's hot.
That's very good, sir. That's very good. Yeah, what else we got?
It tastes like coffee.
I mean, it's got a good scald on it, Alec. It is hot. I'll give you that. This is Mickey D's hot. Okay. A little bit of lawsuit hot. I'm a little nervous. Y'all be good now. Come on now. I told you we're struggling over here. We're a bunch of guitar players. We don't know what we're doing. All right.
It's got a bit of nutty flavor to
It's
it.
nutty. That's what you say when you don't know what to say. It is.
Nutty.
I was going to say it is. Mike says it's besmirched. It's good. It's citrusy to me. Anybody else feeling that? It's bright. Thank you. Coffee. Yes. All right. Prototype 1 is good. Looking for prototype 2. You want to hear some little gainier sounds, or somebody want to hear something specific?
Well, actually, I'd like to show you, like, sort of on a Telecaster, which is low output pickup. I'm going to show you like what kind of gain you're going to get out of channel 1 all the way up, right?
Okay, we bridge pickup?
Yeah.
Okay. Channel 1?
That's one. Okay, so the first time I ever heard an amp that like caused me to turn my head around, I was at the Roxy Theater in 1993, maybe 92, and my little band was opening this show, and I heard this big clang, and I looked up and I turned around and I thought, okay, everything I own is going up for sale. Whatever that guy has, I'm picking that up. And it was a matchless. It was a matchless DC-30. And it sounded like that. That's sort of like Summer of '69 kind of thing, right? That is like, that's it, right? It's dirty, but it's not dirty because you can just let those chords ring out. And the amp I had at the time did not do that. Wouldn't even get close to it.
Which one is this?
This is the Jet Black, channel 1.
What's the, you gonna do the neck pickup?
What's that?
You gonna do neck?
Yeah, go for it.
Middle position.
So, I mean, anybody here believe you cannot get low end out of EL84s now? I mean,
Nate, how open is the guitar?
I'm wide open.
You're wide open, okay.
Yep.
so that's a Telecaster channel one gain cranked. And I think you can get that same sound with the master volume turned way down.
Let's hear some.
Channel 2,
Yep.
let's go over to channel 2. I'll bring the gain kind of down-ish. Okay, that's like 9 o'clock gain, channel 2. And now I have been certified to get this past noon, so I'll bring it up.
Let her eat. I almost got it in tune.
That was close. That was pretty close. But that right there is sort of the sound you get at the factory. And you go, okay, we're done. Stop. We're done. Let's don't touch it. We're good.
Yeah, that's great. Any questions?
Are you gonna play humbucker through this?
I can. Here, let me pull that out really quick. Robert.
Nash is not cool with this at all. It's easy. Just sit there. Just be quiet. It's good. It's all good. Okay, we'll go back to the clean side. You want to go back?
Yes. Yeah. Do something jazzy.
Is Nash okay? I will be stealing that harmonic trick when I get home. Okay, so,
I got one trick.
can we gain it up just a bit? Like in a...
You want to try the trim out?
How far is your index finger from you? I'm going to see this. Wait a minute. Okay, just checking.
We were touching.
I'm not sure how many. Okay, so I'll gain up channel 1 all the way. What's that?
Put the trim on.
Oh, yeah.
The swampy thing we were doing on the demo.
Turn that master up.
amazing play.
In case you want to write an HBO song for a murder mystery, Nate White is your man.
I'm looking at you, HBO. That was so much funnier in my head, but it didn't work out. Was it the Danny side?
Yeah, go to channel 2. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll start off low.
You hear the bottom end on that? I feel like I'm never gonna clean my room. Never! I'm gonna go home and clean my room.
All right, let's get that Squire over here. Where's that?
Where's it at? Come on, is it tuned? I mean, give me that.
Tune it up. Tune it up first.
So Nate, you're straight in.
Straight in. Yeah. He was asking if there's any effects or.
There's one cable straight in.
But it's a $4,000 cable.
I think you get the cable.
Yeah.
And someone did want to hear with T90s.
P90s. Wait a second.
P90.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
It's got a preamp in the cable too, but
Hey, by the way, there ain't nothing wrong with Squire. Okay. All right, good. Just make sure. No besmirching.
okay.
How
So
many is
wait.
that? Okay, all right.
I went to a small performance around the NAMM Showtime. There's a guy named Will McFarlane who is one of the Swampers, right? Just amazing telly player. He was playing a Fender Squire, plugged into one of our Black Cats. That was it, straight in, and the guy killed it all night long. It was fantastic.
However, cheers.
Cheers. Yeah.
All right. I like Prototype 1. Well, just as a quick poll. Nobody's winning nothing yet, but by a show of hands, who thinks this is really, really good coffee and like this may be the winner? Okay. All right, neck pickup. Here it comes.
Woo, there it is. Shall we gain it up? I can do that. Channel 2.
So to me, where they're different is when you have a higher grade pickup, you just get more activity. But I think this still sounds good. Agreed? By show of hands? Yeah. All right. Let's do the P90 really quick. And then after that, probably ought to give away an amp. Anybody excited about that?
Fire the roadie.
No, you know what a real nightmare is? Tuning by ear in front of a bunch of guitar players in one room. Hey.
It's close.
I'll just play some stuff, gain it up, and everybody
single
be quiet.
notes.
All right, here we go.
thoughts?
I think I'd like to get that. Actually, that's pretty nice.
So that's a versatile amp. We could go through all the line, but at some point, and that point is now, I think we should give away an amplifier. And I think that we should thank Mr. John Thompson for being here. Hold your applause. And I think that we should also drink the other Prototype 2. Prototype 2 is ready, right? They're drinking it now. Okay. But in the meantime, the amp that we were just playing, we're about to give away. This is serial number 2 of 100.
All right.
Okay, I don't want to see it. Let me flip them around. This one feels like the one. Kyle Caraway.
Congratulations, Kyle Caraway. Give it up for me. You want it. Come on. Come on. Guys, have you had fun tonight? Are you glad you came? By a round of applause. All right, so coffee number 1. I think it's a landslide victory for coffee number 1. Ladies and gentlemen, Chords and Coffee Coffee is coffee number 1, which is this one. And it's going to be called Chords and Coffee Coffee, and it's going to be available. If you're watching this and you're like, I would like to know more about Bad Cat amps, I'm curious about it. Curious as a cat, you might say. Well, give us a call at 417-882-7000. I'll probably pick up the phone, or Nash. We've got a great team here, and we love talking about Bad Cats, but even more than that, we love talking with you. We'll see you soon.